Kai Havertz and Mason Mount on target, on point for Chelsea to stop the rut of 5 games with no win and 3 defeats on the bounce with a comfortable 2-0 win against AFC Bournemouth on Boxing Day in this the day after Boxing Day in the festive period, and a very, very important win indeed. A very important win to stop that run, to stop the rut, to build a little bit of confidence up, to kind of draw a line under what was a really poor end to the season, or run up to the break for the World Cup. And of course, Graham Potter has been working hard with his team and has been pushing with his team to try and get them back to some level of normality. And it was a good performance from Chelsea, especially that first half. Being Reece James' return as an example, looking at just some of the players' performances again, I thought Zachariah performed to a very, very good level in the middle for the majority of the game. Mason Mount had one of his better performances. Of course, there's an element of it being marred with Reece James going off and a real sense of disappointment from him. You could see the worry and the concern in relation to the injury he's picked up. Really not clear what it is, a recurrence, a different injury. Nothing's really been said. We'll keep an eye out for that one. But I thought overall, Thiago Silva, brilliant as ever. One of the better performances from Cucurella. Zachariah, very, very good. Mason Mount, very good. And Raheem Sterling having one of his better performances as well, creating the goal from that right-hand side. I thought him and Reece James linked up very, very well together for Chelsea today as well. Second half, look, Bournemouth didn't create gilt-edged chances. That's because defensively, Chelsea were very, very solid. Maybe a little bit more control would have been wanted by Chelsea fans. Another goal certainly wouldn't have gone amiss to really kill the game off. But when you look at Chelsea's run of form in the lead up to this period, 3 points was needed. And then you suddenly start to look at the table. And I'm just looking at it now. And again, for Chelsea's bad run and no win in 5 up until tonight, suddenly you look at the league table and go, okay, well, 24 points, game in hand over Tottenham, who are on 30. Win your game in hand, you're only 3 points off the top. Who did Chelsea play next? Away to Newcastle on New Year's Day. So you would expect, Nottingham Forest on New Year's Day. You would very much expect a Chelsea win in that game. Irrespective of form, Forest are not very good. Then it gets a little tougher with at home to Man City, away to Fulham, and then at home to Crystal Palace. But Chelsea still got a chance of this top 4 finish, depending on who they buy. But Sheila is a deal that looks like it's going to happen. There's talk of Enzo Fernandez. There's talk of João Felix still coming in. More and more money being spent. The likes of Kovacic and co to return still. I wouldn't be writing this Chelsea team off 100% yet. The whole no chance of top 4 is too much. Right now, they're not in my top 4 predictions, but more performances like this, and more clean sheets like this, and who knows what can happen. Let's have a look here at some of your comments that are coming through. Jorginho is so crap, Terry, is what Fraser says here. Gunaville says, very good game by Chelsea. I really think Potter will do a good job if the Chelsea fans give him the time. Feel for Reece James. Hopefully nothing serious. James, oh my God, is what Jeffrey's got to say. Did you watch the second half? Can't believe Potter turned into sleep mode. Yeah, look, they just weren't clinical on the counter-attack, Chelsea. That was the difference. They had no need to, during the festive period, you don't need to be 90 miles an hour for 90 minutes when you're 2-0 up in the second half. Counter-attack, reserve energy, save it until the next game. Simple and as straightforward as that. So there was nothing wrong with that second half performance, barring not scoring a third goal, is what I would say. A few people saying it was a boring game. I didn't think it was boring per se. Chelsea just killed it and nullified it, and Bournemouth didn't have. Bournemouth were the ones that lacked bravery. They didn't commit enough men forward until too late in the game. Rush James injury. Team just lacks power, pace, and consistency because I refuse to believe that these players aren't fundamentally good at football. Yeah, maybe Reece James has been rushed back. That's a really fair point that you raised there, my friend. Fads here. It says not the best performance overall. First half was great, but second half was meh. We allowed Bournemouth too much time on the ball, but defended really well. Sad about the Reece James injury. Hope he's okay. And you're getting a lot of that sentiment from Chelsea fans across social media. And they're going to want their boy. They're going to want their boy to be okay. And why would they not? Steelbread here. says it's good to be back with a win. Hopefully, Reece James's injury is nothing too serious. Yeah, and I'm not going to overly speculate. The shaking of the head, though, that would be my concern if I was a Chelsea fan. The shaking of the head, that's almost the international sign for I know what this is. If it was just a little tweak, a little twinge, but maybe he's going to be okay. DR here says Zachariah was immense. Oh, it was very good. I think he faded a little bit, but that's to be expected. I can't understand why he hasn't played more because he put in a really good performance in the middle. Dyke says big win for us. Kai, Mount, Raheem on fire. Yeah, they were. And I do want to shout out Thiago Silva as well, by the way, because this man's immense. This man is so good for his age, and equally probably is the best centre back in the Premier League. Probably. Varane's got a shout for it. Van Dijk, of course, is in that debate. And I'm just talking overall career. He's in that category. But at the age that he is at, to still be performing the way that he does, it's out of it. It legitimately is out of this world. It is out of this world how good he is at his age. Ridiculously good. Dave is joining me now to have his say on the game and proceedings. First of all, Merry Christmas, my friend, and everything else. Give me your thoughts on Chelsea today. Back to winning ways.
Game of two halves, really. Game of Reece James being fit and game of Reece James not being fit is like completely polar opposites. When we was fit, the team was flowing really well and it looked really good. And then he got injured, and then it kind of just the game kind of just tailed off. So yeah, but again, not much has changed really. It's the first game back, so I'm not sure how I take it, considering it is also Bournemouth as well. It's not many words really. It's just an average performance, but a job well done because we just had to win and get a clean sheet. So
Yeah, I get you on that. I do. Excuse me. I do get you that it was a little bit drab in that kind of second half. But as you say, it is just Bournemouth, and you didn't need to exert yourselves. They didn't really look like scoring, as it were. Did you see any kind of? I saw a lot of Chelsea fans tweeting before the game. I hope we change. Did you see much change from the way you played post World Cup?
No, I didn't. Not yet. And I'm not sure again whether it's because it's like, oh, we scored 2 goals very quickly. We just kind of went, okay, let's just hold it and see what happens, or whether it's like Reece James got injured and then everyone kind of lost their heads and stuff. When when Reece James was fit, it just showed that I think the team actually does have quite a lot of quality in it. And it's just like, as soon as he got injured, it kind of almost shut down our really right-hand attacking side, because him, Sterling, and Mount were actually linking up very well along that whole side and just literally like leaving Bournemouth for dead, even though they were playing 5 at the back. But yeah, it just kind of made the team a bit more imbalanced. And then Asby came on, and Asby physically just can't do what Reece does. Like Reece is a lockdown right back. So when teams try and attack that side, they can't really do much. But he's also just as good going forward as well. So they have to like mark him up at the top end as well. And it just shuts down the whole right side of a team. And then it forces them to have to continuously attack down the other wing. And then we can stop that. So Reece James, the point is, Reece James is really good and he's kind of crucial for us. He's incredibly crucial. So I hope he's fit as soon as possible. That's literally it.
Yeah, I do get that. I view it from the point of view of Graham Potter's got to develop a system that doesn't rely on Reece James that dramatically. There can't be that drop off. If what you're saying is true, there can't be that drop off in mentality as regularly. If that makes sense, you need to kind of get past that. The whole Reece James or bust. One team, one player, one man team mentality is not good, and for Chelsea to have that is strange for me, considering what we've seen in the last 2 decades, where you've not been a one man team at all. But of course, the win's important. You're looking like you're going to sign more players as well, David. I mean, you've the Badashila, it looks like it's happening. There's talk of Enzo Fernandez, João Felix. I mean, the owners are spending more than Roman, for God's sakes.
They're spending a lot. I just hope it's wise spending. Me personally, I don't think Enzo Fernandez is someone you should be dropping as much money as being touted on him. I just wouldn't do it, like personally. João Felix, I get. Badiashile, I get. Hopefully we can sign a fullback that's got a bit more athleticism maybe a loan deal, and then we go for Livramento in the summer because we have a buyback on him. But there are many options that we have in this transfer window, many options. But I just, yeah, Enzo Fernandez for 120 mil is like, do not do it, because you're going to end up with the same thing that we had with Lukaku, where it's like you have a position that you need to fill, but because we have so many positions, dropping 120 mil in that one position is just not the answer, because there are too many holes for you to plug in, and it's going to effectively lengthen your process to build back to get into the top, because you're going to have to wait another whole summer to fill in the gaps that you've left because it's 120 mil. So yeah.
I mean, 120 million pound does seem a hell of a lot of money, as you say, but I don't know. Todd B's pulling this money out from all kinds of areas at the moment, so maybe there's even more to come. You know, these investors are really looking to bolster Chelsea up. And in terms of top four, you're not a million miles away from it. But obviously, the 5 games leading up to the break, you would have thought no chance. Are you still confident, as a Chelsea fan, you can turn this round?
No. Quite frankly, no. I'd like to sit here and be all positive and like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen and blah blah, but I can't see it right now. Again, depending on the signings, if we make really good signings in January and our team like does look a lot better, that might change my opinion. But as of today, as our squad currently is, even with some of the youngsters that we've signed like coming in January, I can't see it right now. I just think there's too much for us to try and. It's been a massive change this season for Chelsea in terms of everything that's happened, from new owners to new players and so on, and a new system, and then new scouting and new manager and new training regimes and so on and so forth. It's just been such a massive change for the team. I can't really see them being consistent enough to finish in the top 4. But I'd like to be proven that.
No, I do get you, and I suppose the big hope now, as you say, is hope from your point of view, hoping that Reece James gets over this injury quickly and that he's back, and that you do bring these players in and you can kind of try and build some momentum, really.
Yeah. To be fair, we were also missing like key players. Like we were missing Kovacic today, and I think Kovacic is really ideal for us. I'd love to see a midfield of like Kovacic, Zachariah, and Mount, because I think that's got a really good like combination play between them, because you've got the ability to like progress the ball really well. And then Mount, again, I'm still not sold on Mount. Like he's like up and down. It's really weird. Like the finish today is really good, but like I felt like overall he could have been a bit better. Personally, I don't know whether that's me being a bit harsh, but I felt like he just could have been better. Havertz was actually really good today. That's one thing I haven't mentioned. Havertz was really, really good today. He got his goal, which he deserved. Sterling was good, back on form like we've seen Sterling do in the past. He just has to be more consistent with it. And that's the same thing with most of our team. The only person in our team who's been consistent the whole time is Thiago Silva. And I still maintain he is the best centre-back in the Premier League. If we don't have Thiago Silva in this team, it's carnage. The same way Liverpool fans are like, if we didn't have Alisson in goal, we'd be in massive trouble. It's like us with Thiago Silva. If we didn't have Thiago Silva, it'd be problems, because like Koulibaly looks incredibly nervous. Like incredibly, all the time he's on the ball, he looks very nervous. And Thiago Silva just gives that team a bit of.
Koulibaly is so interesting for me, because Koulibaly was a player that I know a lot of people wanted to see at their club or in the Prem for many years. So far, I've been nowhere near as impressed with him as I thought I would be. Does that make sense? I think he's been good at times, but I thought he was a lot better than he's showing. Personally, I thought he'd be a lot better.
He's had his moments. Like he's had his against Tottenham, he was really good, and he had the volley as well. He's had those games where you're like, oh, that's the centre back everyone's been talking about, but it's just again lacking in that consistency, and sometimes it just making like poor decisions in terms of he'll complete a pass, but then it will be a pass that's kind of set up the next person to have to just go backwards and shut down the whole attack. It's like I think what happens is like when players, especially transferred to the Premier League, it's like they're used to thinking about what they do, and then they play football afterwards. Whereas when you're in the Prem, you have to play and think at the exact same time. Whereas I think like in Serie A, you have that bit of those extra 1 or 2 seconds for you to do that, and then you can make your better decisions. Whereas in the Prem, it's just like get the ball and you've got to do it. You just have to do it. So
the Premier League is just so people hate this because they think we're talking about everybody's a bit the speed of a runner. It's just the pace of the game is faster. It's non-stop. It doesn't end, and We know this is true because players come here and say, I can't believe how fast paced the Premier League is. So we know we're not making it up just for effect. And as you say, I think that's an area that he's just got to get to grips with. What hasn't helped him, though, this is where I will defend players like Koulibaly, is they've come into Chelsea when Chelsea are going through ownership change, structural change. Then there was managerial change. So you may even find that Graham Potter sits there and is like, I wouldn't assign this guy. He's not my dude, you know? And I think that's why Chelsea fans have got to become a little more relaxed with how they assess Chelsea this year, because all these changes at the same time were never going to create how Arsenal are playing this year, how City play consistently. That there needs to be that kind of togetherness, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see how it goes. David, listen, always a pleasure to speak, my friend. Top
No problem.
man, and we'll chat again soon. Cheers, bro. Thank you very much indeed. Hope everybody's good. What we were saying here. Enzo is a gamble. Yeah, Enzo is a gamble, 120 mil. I have a little feeling it isn't going to be that much money, though. Just a gut feeling through reading all these reports that are out there. This comment here says J5 was great today. Normally can't stand him, but I can't count how many times I saw him come up and take the ball off Bournemouth players right at the top of our attacking third. Sean here says, don't watch much Chelsea. Seems like no player trusts Pulisic. What are you guys' thoughts on him? It's a really good question for the audience to kind of come back and answer as well. My personal thoughts are decent amount of skill and technique, but very little end product, very little panache, very little. Actually, no, he's got panache. There's no finish. You know, there's a lot of work, but no finish. A lot of skill, but no finish. And I'm not just talking goals. I just mean end product in general. Plus, he's made of biscuits. He's legitimately made of biscuits. And I just think he's going to be injured again soon, no doubt. The game was a mid-off, is what Ash believes. I don't know if it was that bad. Chelsea played some really good football. But then I saw Tony Pulis, who was doing the commentary, and sorry, the punditry at half-time, saying, but Bournemouth didn't even lay a challenge on Chelsea. Now, is that because Bournemouth had a bad game? Or did Chelsea just move the ball too quick? Was their movement so superior that Bournemouth couldn't get near them? What do you guys think? Jermaine here says Mount should have been in the post, or what better could he have done? What's been said here. William says hard one for me. Saw my team win, but my cousin Jack got skinned. Is what man's saying there. I hear you on that. If you've got a family member that got done today, then I get you. This here says we actually looked like a coach team today. Listen, I think that it's just going to take your manager time, and Chelsea have gone through transition. Chelsea have gone through some turmoil. People will look at Newcastle and go, they've turned it around quickly, but that's because they were being run like crap with no ambition, no thought of progression. Players just picking up paychecks, hoping they would get a move to another club. Suddenly, new owners come in and it's all positive, all brilliant. With Chelsea, it's almost, there'll be some players, they won't say this publicly because of why it happened. There'll be some Chelsea players that will have been like, I literally joined to be part of Roman's empire. I joined to be part of Roman's empire under Tuchel. I didn't join for what's happening now. So there's a slight lack of motivation. There's a different approach, and it's going to take longer for Chelsea to fix it than it has for Newcastle to turn themselves into top 4 contenders. No doubt about that in my mind. Dyke actually says, shout out to my star boy Pulisic. So good. So Dyke here rating Christian Pulisic today is what he's saying. Lee Bell says, hey, Terry, Chelsea won today. Won't trip on you with all the Arsenal mumbo jumbo. Keep up, my G. Listen, people, it was a little while ago when I was really raving about how good Chelsea were when they were great, and people said I was a secret Chelsea fan. Anyone who's new to the terrace in recent times, if you're a gooner watching right now, if you become bad again, I'll say you're bad. I don't do the irony in it is I'm the least biased person out there, but if you see me in isolation, you'll think I'm biased. And the only reason for that is that I do believe in my own opinions, which is a weird thing to be annoyed about somebody for. Imagine being annoyed at someone because they believe what they're saying is true. I'll be more, imagine wanting to listen to a YouTuber that doesn't believe what he says. Strange to me. Chelsea OG, one of our members, says we had a super first half, but the second half with no goals and the injury just ruined the mood. Yeah, I think the injury definitely could take that mood down an echelon or two. I get you on that one, my friend. Now you're a little extra with Arsenal, and you know it. Can't lie to us. We all know you. Um, excuse me. I'm not extra with Arsenal. I think with Arsenal, I spoke about this earlier with Jess. The Arsenal stuff is because when I said in the summer they were going to be good, I received the most amount. I mean, I get a lot of abuse every day, a lot of abuse every day, but it was the most amount of acute, quick fire abuse I'd ever received in my time on social media. And now that everything I predicted and foresaw is coming true, and some, I'm laying it on thick. So I'm not supporting Arsenal. I'm supporting myself. You've got to differentiate between the two things. Until I get from certain bullies online, sorry, Terry, you were right. I won't stop. I need that. Now, I even had it today, right? You guys will know the terrace. When I say something's on, it means the transfer is active, right? Someone comes to me today and went, "You lied to everybody about Gakpo." I said, "Oh, where did I lie?" They said, "You said it was on." I said, "Yes, it was." You went, "Nah, you had no chance. Liverpool always going to get him." I said, "Bro, you just tweeted there that you're laughing at United because they got hijacked at the last minute." He went, "Well, yeah, because you nearly signed him." Like, so the transfer was on. He's like, "Well, nah, you're just a fraud." I'm like, "So you agree that it was on, like I said, but you're calling me a fraud because United didn't get him?" I was like, "Where did I say 100% United to sign him?" He's like, "Well, you didn't." So what you angry with me for? He didn't. He never come back to me. That's the kind of shit I go for every day. So when it comes to the Arsenal stuff, all I said is I think they're gonna have a good season. I think I predicted them to come third. Then when I saw how bad Liverpool were, I said second. But me predicting Arsenal coming third got me more abuse than anything else I've ever done online. So that's why I shout loud when they do and achieve things. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Do some more of your comments here. Pulisic played a good game today, is what Cobham Season's got to say. Danny Wilson says Pulisic should have scored, and it was a foul previously. By the way, yeah, I think Pulisic should have got a penalty today. I think that pull on the shirt is 100% a foul. 110% a foul. I was very surprised that it wasn't given, to be fair. Very surprised. Very, very surprised. How have they allowed him to go to Van Dijk? I don't know what you mean. What does that mean? I don't know what it means. Do you know what it is, Raphael? I sometimes give people the energy, and I know people they comment on the transfer videos and go, "Why are you making this up?" And it's like, well, you clearly, if you watch the video, saw that I showed who the source was and who the journalist was and everything else. It's just boring, really. But you are right. I should focus on the 3.5 to 4 million people a month that say nice things rather than the couple of hundred or the thousand or so that say nasty things. But there we go. The Gakpo saga. Yeah, listen, it wasn't even really a saga. United were leading the race. United were in for him, and then Liverpool turned up, and he said, "See you later. I'm off." And why? And why would he not? Why would he not? With how good Liverpool are. Yes, they're on a dip at the minute in terms of this season, but this was a side that were a handful of goals in either direction away from doing a quad. Come on now. Terry, I remember you laughing at us red face when we were eighth. I know you're not biased. Exactly. It just is what it is. And if Arsenal dropped off and ended up finishing fifth this year, I'd be getting in because I don't care. I don't care. People think I'm just doing it because me and Jess live together. No, legit. When Man United beat them, I'm going to tell you this now live. When Man United beat Arsenal earlier on this season, I celebrated. She didn't speak to me for 2 whole days in this house. 2 days blanked me. Didn't stop celebrating. Every time she walked in the room, I put the highlights on still. I didn't care. So don't talk to me then. I'm celebrating my team winning. So yeah, man's out here thinking I'm some simp. Tss. You don't get to where I've got to in life being a simp. That's it. Let's have a little look here. In all honesty, Terry, you are pretty balanced, but no, listen, I just answered that one before I put it out there. Um, Someone's really weird. Do you share a bed or a room? I live with her. What do you think? Derry, what do you think of Zachariah? I thought Zachariah was really good today. I thought he played well, performed well. I thought that he, for his first Premier League appearance or debut, so I think it was. I don't know if debut was his first start or his subs appearance. I don't know, but for his first start, really, really good. And maybe Chelsea should have been using him a little bit sooner, a little bit sooner. But there we go. I am a top G, my friend. I am a top G. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, do me a big favor and smash the like button before you leave. We're live after Man United versus Nottingham Forest to review today. Top 6 show back out tomorrow. We'll be looking at all the Boxing Day action again. Lee Gunner and I on Thursday, plus more transfer news coming your way as well. So stick with the Terrace. Hit that like. We'll be on likewise now. Maybe we've got to be on right. Let's get this past 250 likes at the very least, my people. You all control that right now by doing it. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.